Hey, Paprika here, back with another replay review. This time we have Cobra Barcelona. Cobra is a Plat 1 player. He is also a frequent messenger on my coaching Discord. Really appreciate the thoughts and ideas he brings. And he is very honest in naming that he struggles against English. So he asked for, he's actually going to get a 2 replay special here. So we're going to look at this game. We're going to look at another one of his. But this one he's playing HRE against an English player. Now, what do you do in this matchup? English plays 2 very distinct styles, and so English is one of those things you have to scout very early to know what you need to do. So for example, if he's going to do feudal all in the archers, you just need to match him on feudal, in my opinion. Your eco's good enough that the plan is that you basically try to find places you can wall to protect key resources. So in this case it would be this tree line right here. And you'd probably want to then put your Aachen like back here and try to keep like this as the safe zone. So wall from here to here, here to here, and then this is your safe zone. And then against English, if they're doing a longbow rush, you as HRE just need to mass archer rangers yourself. And if you can just outmass them on archers, you win because your archers are faster, so you can't run away from you. So the second you get that numbers bonus, you just overrun him. As your eco improves, you add in like 2 or 3 men at arms to tank, and so then you basically run like 3 or 4 men at arms and the massive archers, and honestly you will win. Rethinking that, put the Aachen here. Like once again, where's the safe zone you can make? Because with their range as longbows, you want to try to reduce the area they can walk in and poke. And with your wood lines forward, and knowing you need wood for archers, that's why I would say like here to here is your wall. You can end my more like wall from like potentially here to here, so he can't poke in. The wall from here to here. That should buy you enough time to get the wood you need to then make archers and push. If he's going to go to 2 TC, I think, in my opinion, your best bet is you could match his second TC if you want and play a very eco sameness game. But for you, your castle is so much better because of your relic grab. So going fast castle into grabbing relics, into then either attacking with the eco from gold or rushing Swabia and then doing an imp push against English, because then your men at arms beat what he has. Now, I don't know what you do in this game, but that's my suggestions with my knowledge of the matchup. So let's see what you try doing. And as always, you could do something completely differently and win, and I might be wrong. So all I can give is what I've seen from back when I used to play HRE a lot, back with what I've seen how people have played this matchup. And we're opening, grabbing sheep. Okay, so here's my concern with having the Aachen here, is that this becomes the area you then need to defend. But this area doesn't have is wood. And so if he's able to cut off your wood, you basically just kind of die. And so that's why I'd rather have all the food and wood here, because food and wood you can live. You can actually do stuff with that and push them away and then go back to gold. Gold you don't really need to make archers, so you have to like focus down to what is the thing you will potentially need the most. These berries aren't necessarily that important. You can always make farms. You still have sheep, so that's why I would have put it potentially here and focused more on this like safe pocket you might want to create. Against civs are going to be aggressive. You have to kind of pre-plan how your base needs to look to maximize your defensive abilities. Sorry, excuse me. But with 2 on the Aachen, I feel like this is a fast castle. Okay, he's doing longbow rush, so that's something you're going to have to consider. And this is the exact scenario when you really want to have that safe pocket of resources. Because a good English player will identify what's the resource I can cut off. They either want to cut off food immediately or wood immediately, and they come here. Okay, so we're going instant horseman, and to me, going horseman against English as most civs is good. And the reason being is because you want to force them to make a lot of spearmen, so they make less longbows, and then you go pure archers yourself and you snipe out their spears, and then your horsemen go in and kill the longbows, or you just have so many archers that you just outmass as longbows and you push. Horsemen also nice for raiding, but you're unique as HRE. You have men at arms, which tank very, very nicely, and you also have fast archers. Your archers are so fast that they can catch the longbows. Japan plays in a very similar way, where Japan can do horseman archer and Yumi, but I actually think a few samurai and mass Yumi is the better response, because the Yumi are so fast they can catch the longbows. And so it's just about surviving till you can outmass, especially with your eco being so much better than English's. Leave the gold perfect, but you notice how now your Aachen becomes a little bit useless. All it's covering is this sheep and then this berries, which you can't even protect anymore. And you need to make sure your pellet is in the Aachen. If roll had flipped and it's there, now you have this wood line you're getting set up, and it looked like you were potentially trying to rush castle, but you're like 500 gold so much. You don't need 500 gold. And so imagine if this resources had been wood instead. You could have already dropped walls side to side in here. You could have put like a tower here so he can't come up and poke your wood line. And then you could have already had multiple production buildings and been good to go. So I think you just kind of over-gathered gold a little bit. If your intention was to go fast castle, you need to commit to it by just dropping like 2 towers and doing it. But if your intention was, if he's like, I'll fight him if he's going to push me, well then we gathered too much gold in this instance. But if you can catch those first longbows before he gets spearmen, that would be huge. Okay, he saw your horsemen. Oh, there they are. Ooh, get him. There's no better feeling than chasing down a group of longbows. Oh my goodness. And he came up with no spear, so that's so greedy of him. I think he read you as fast castling. He saw your 2 on the Aachen age up and the slow age up. He saw you with getting lots and lots of gold. I think he read that as a fast castle, so he did no spearmen. And now he's being punished for that. Okay, so what do you do out of this? So you just killed 5 longbows basically for free. You're now very far ahead. You have 10 military. And he has 4. And now here's the thing. You could continue feudal pushing this game and trying to win in feudal. And I'm going to critique your wall here. Connect the wood lines. And then consider where your TC's range is and wall in from that TC range. Which gives you more wood line instead of doing this. And then you can kind of onion your walls out. So wall here to here, and you can wall here to here, here to here, here to here, and that gives you this whole back area of all these resources back here, which is deer in stone, but still. And just onion your walls out that way. But you have a decision to make. This is like, in a lot of matches, there are breakpoint moments where it's like, I have just done something really well. What do I do from here? The options are either to just fully invest into just mass archers, so you're just dropping more archery ranges, which you are, and then you drop a barracks and you do rams and you push that way. That's just all well and good. The other option is, knowing that you just got yourself such a huge military lead, you rush castle. So you pull like half your villagers off food, you put them on the sheep or the berries, and then you rush castle. Or you run them back to this deer over here, and you rush castle, and knowing that if you can get the castle, you can just start spamming men-at-arms and you win. So that's your 2 options. Both are viable. So let's see what you do. Now the key is these horsemen should now play a very big raiding role. So since you're starting to build up, how many archers you have? 3. You need more. So now I suggest you just make pure archers, because he's going to start making spearmen. And these horsemen now play the role of, they're always at the back of his base poking. So I would want them poking here. I'd want them poking here. But also you saw his army size. It's not very big. So if you bring this up with these horsemen, you just win that fight. You want to rush up a blacksmith now to really get the upgrades. Don't give him space. We're pushing. Don't be afraid to take this fight. You should be... That's not enough units for him. Okay, back up. So what you're doing is successful in the sense that he is not coming near your base. You're getting your resources. You're getting your tower up. Like, you don't need to push it at this point, but your horseman control needs to be like. Here's the thing: if you're doing horseman archer versus spearman archer, your micro has to be better than theirs, because you have to basically bait out the spears with the horsemen and then back them up before they're into the spears, so your archers can shoot spears. So your archers can just be on a move, while your horsemen just run in and out, forcing him to bring his spears up. And when his spears come up, your archers will then shoot the spears because they're the closest thing to shoot. Second, if you just need way more archers. And you have the resources for it. Look at your resources. You're floating 400 food, 200 wood, 400 gold. At this point, You desperately need a blacksmith, because if you can get your blacksmith upgrades, you'll just wreck him. So if you really want to do this all in feudal, I would have dropped the blacksmith and a third archery range, and you're just rallying to wood. You only need, like, at this point 10 on gold, and you're just going pure archers. Another thing you could do is blacksmith and then barracks and drop the horsemen and just do pure men-at-arms, because at this point he has nothing that counters men-at-arms, and he's making spearmen, and your men-at-arms would slice his spearmen. So it's like asking yourself, what's the counter? So I forced them into this. Can I counter this differently? Your options are either mass archers, or or a good amount of archers with men-at-arms. I think both options are very viable, but at this point with your eco booming, you need to get blacksmith upgrades. Blacksmith upgrades are huge, especially against English. Arrow defense matters a lot in these fights. But you also have to be aware he's probably trying to rush castle if he's not pushing you. So a very common thing if people are aggressive and it doesn't work is that they will then rush castle, and that's what he's doing. He's gonna try to rush castle, especially as an English with a very safe castle landmark. They just need to get to castle and then they'll be fine. I like you getting the boar. So he rushes castle, and you leave, and he doesn't do White Tower, he does King's Palace. So that's why I said because you are so far ahead of him on units. You have 33 units, and he has 15, and honestly, him going King's Palace should be GG right here, because he has no defenses. I know you assume it's the White Tower, but what you should have done is pushed, and then once it's confirmed White Tower, you leave. But you know you're ahead. You've been making units. You've beaten him multiple times, or at least found his stalemate. You're ahead, so you should push through and see what he had. And if you have the White Tower back up, you're fast. You're HRE. But if he doesn't, he has the King's Palace, then it's go time. Like raid, you could have pushed them all off the wood line, off the food. Man, if you had rams right now, you could have just dropped rams in the back and pushed through, and he wouldn't be able to stop you, honestly. Or drop rams and push his production. Like him going King's Palace basically should have been GG right here, because he has nothing to defend while your army is twice the size of his. You just never went blacksmith, so you can't drop rams, and also you don't have the arrow defense to tank TC fire a little bit better. So that's the thing really holding you back here. You really had a chance to just push him here and win the game, and you can identify that by asking, like, do I have more units than him? Is he still making units? Like, if you see his army, is it growing the same fast size as yours? If he hits castle, do you know what he hit? Like, don't assume. And also, if someone hits castle, you haven't gone castle yet, it just means they have less units than you, because you've been investing into units and they haven't. Oh man, you had such an opportunity here. But going castle yourself isn't bad. It's fine. Burgrave. I guess. I'm just not the biggest Burgrave fan. It's so all in. There's no way to, if it doesn't work, it's really hard to like adjust off of it. And it requires so much food. So you notice that you just sent all these villagers to wood? That's a big no-no. They needed to all go to deer, like instantly. Like basically, if you're gonna do Burgrave and make it effective, you need most of your units on wood, on food and gold, with only a little bit on wood, because now you have to produce men-at-arms consistently, which is very expensive at the speed that Burgrave makes it. So you shouldn't have 19 on wood. You should have like 20 on food, which you need to be on berries and deer. And you keep some on wood to just add farms as you start running out of hunt, and then you need like 10 on gold or more to get upgrades and make units. So this is very all in, but you're not setting up your eco to do this, is my fear at this moment. Your eco set up to make mass archers, and now you're trying to add farms. But the key part of the Burgrave is right when you enter the Burgrave here. And boom, it stops. So you notice you need 100 food every time, and you're making them at 5 a second. That's so much food you need to consistently make out of the Burgrave. You should have sprinted to this deer and to this deer back here. Like here's the thing, you have the hunts to be able to power this, but it needed to happen right now. 2, if this is gonna work, you absolutely need arrow defense. You need blacksmith and get arrow defense so you can run under TC, because you have a window here. He went to TC, you went Burgrave. So he went the economic landmark and you didn't. Your economic landmark is Regnitz. Instead, you went the military landmark, which means you are all inning. So the timing window is here, a window where you have time to do damage before his 2 TC pays off, but you have to set yourself up for success with blacksmith so that you can get the air defense upgrades and pushing right now. Like, you do not want to wait. You don't want to wait on this. You're waiting too long. You're waiting too long. Like, even if you want white tower, there's no way he's matching your current unit production right now. And you should be making horsemen, just pure men at arms and lance knights. We're waiting. Why are we still waiting? Why are we still waiting? And you're already losing it. Because he's setting up towers. He's grabbing relics. He's making units. And look at this. He has 10 spearmen, 14 longbows, and 1 crossbow. You have 48 military. He has 32. And the longer you wait, like the goal of the Burgrave is that you force the fight as quickly as possible. He loses units, and then you keep making units faster than him. But you're doing this eco adjustment to farms while you're waiting, and it's killing your momentum. You want to be forcing trades and taking fights, and you want your men-at-arms to be all over his base. You want to basically take a fight and then have groups of men-at-arms that show up in this wood line, that show up at this. Like, you want your men-at-arms just all over the place here, so his eco gets shut down, and then you're making units and he's not, and you're just letting him sit here right now. So I think this is just a fundamental misunderstanding of what your goal is at the Burgrave. If you're going to do... It's like Malians with their eco landmark. That the tax style at that point is just throw units at them. Like, just get units all over the map so their eco is shut down. That's what you need to do here. You're just waiting so long. Oh, man. You got 71 units. He's at 44. But why are we waiting? Look at it. He's getting towers up. He's getting gold for free. He's setting up his farms. He's getting his upgrades. He's grabbed the relics, so that's a huge eco boost. So he's on 2 TCs and 4 relics, which is a huge eco boost. You basically just age up and then shut down. Like, I don't know why you're so afraid of attacking. Yes, English TCs are strong, but it's like by castle, if you get the arrow upgrades, it's not that. And now you're getting arrow upgrades and you're going, but this took so long. And you want to get the arrow upgrades for your archers too. Did you upgrade your archers? Okay, come on. If your archers are going to be... If you have this many archers, you might as well get the upgrade for them. Just do it. Get the upgrade for them. You have the gold for it. 2, you should always have a scout with your army, in high view especially, but at any map, you should have a scout with your army. Push, 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 push. Okay, so here's a huge issue that I see. You have a lot of horsemen archers, but you didn't upgrade the horsemen, you didn't upgrade the archers. Why are they not upgraded? Because they're still good fighting units. He has a lot of spearmen. He has a lot of crossbows, which your horsemen are great against, but you didn't upgrade them. And this is what's so great about horsemen. As the fight's happening, your horsemen can just dive his eco. And if they're veteran horsemen with the arrow upgrades, they don't die to TCs. But you lost this for a couple reasons. One, he has full blacksmith upgrades, and well, not full, but a lot of blacksmith upgrades. He's also fighting with his attack bonus under TC, and 2/3 of your army were not upgraded. So you didn't have veteran archers, you didn't have veteran horsemen, which would have done more damage and tanked more damage. Your men at arms did not have their upgrades, so they didn't have heavy maces, which you need heavy maces against English men at arms, and they didn't have two-handed weapons, which these upgrades are huge for taking this all-out fight. And at this point, since you waited so long, you needed the upgrades to take this fight, because without the upgrades, your men at arms are just doing equal damage to his men at arms, and of course he's going to win with all the bonuses he has. He also has crossbows and you don't. Well, at the same time, and that's what I meant by, like, when you aged up, you only had 9 on gold, and you needed so much more on gold. Because look at these upgrades you needed. You needed the man at arms upgrade. You needed 250 for heavy maces, 250 for two-handed weapons, 250 for horsemen, 250 for veteran archers. You needed about 400 gold for the two. Like, that's so much gold, right? And Instead, you didn't do that. You went super heavy on wood to set up your farming economy, and you're still floating a lot of wood when you could have just used the hunts. Like, if you decide to go Burgrave, your mind should be, I'm going all in on this. I'm going super heavy on gold. I'm getting my important upgrades for my units, and then I'm pushing immediately. Instead, you waited too long, and you lost the advantage because he got his eco set up, and at this point, he is pumping units out of his own production buildings. See? And he's his council hall is like 2 archery ranges, so his production isn't amazing, but he's just producing, and they're right here. While you're only making men at arms, and they're not fully upgraded. So yeah. Overall, that's the big thing, is that you had an advantage early, you didn't recognize it, but you recognize it by knowing that you took good fights, and that he's not making units and you see his units. Instead of pushing and checking and trying to do damage, you left. And then when you went the aggressive landmark, you didn't follow that aggression with immediate attacks. Even if your stuff's not... If you had done that at the beginning of castle and just rushed and sent men at arms everywhere, I think you would have done better. But if you're going to sit back, you have to adjust your eco to match the things you need, which is your upgrades and the specific units you're trying to make. Alright, let's go to the second game. Alright, so game 2, you're playing as Ayyubid against French, which is a great matchup for you. You have a lot of counters that French want to do. But my question is, I looked at your AOE profile, you don't play Ayyubid really at all. So I don't understand why you decided to play Ayyubid in a ranked game out of nowhere. It feels like you're setting yourself up for failure, unless you're trying to learn Ayyubid, but then you don't play them after this. So I'm concerned about giving you advice on Ayyubid if it's something you're not going to play a lot. But anyway, let's hop in. I'm guessing you looked at my build order. Nope. So we're going to scout. Do not do that. If you're going to fast castle, your timings on Ayyubid are so important, and even one scout, which takes 70 food instead of 50, can slow your age up, which can then slow your everything else down the line. So I know you want a lot of sheep, but don't do 2 scout. As Ayyubid, since you're on berries, you can be very aggressive if you're scouting, which should still get you enough sheep to be okay. Yeah, I just wouldn't do 2 scout unless you're playing against Roos. Also puts you behind a Ville. So now French has more villagers than you. Not only that, he makes villagers faster than you. So not only is you down a villager compared to him, he's going to continuously gain faster now because of that. You're getting sheep though. So if this is the gambit you're going to play, you need to get a lot of sheep. But here's the thing, French doesn't need sheep. French, I know you need sheep to fast castle, but French can just go on hunts. Military wing. So fun little thing you can do, tower here, and then since you're so close to the wood line, wall from here to here. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so he's going to school calf. And this is a 40-minute game, we are not going to watch the entire game. We're just going to see what happens early here. So you see him go early hunts. Your Desert Raider needs to be going to that hunt right now. Don't chase the knight. No! Okay, I'm about to say, like, not worth it. I mean, this isn't good. So the second he starts making knights, you have to just pull your villagers off berries. It's over. They're not going to be on berries anymore. So don't leave them on berries. You lost a vill for that. Go arrow. Go arrow. There we go. Nice. Okay, so one mistake you made was on the age up, you should have sent 5 villagers to do 1 around a stone gathering so you can have the arrow slits. And arrow slits is so important against knights because it makes the range longer. It also makes it do more damage, which is really important against tanky knights. So you really needed that 5 stone to get the arrow slit upgrade for your tower. Go harass the gold. You want to go harass his gold. So you have 6 on wood right now, and that's not going to be helpful to you. So you should have already been clicking the age up at this point. 6 on wood, here's how you do it differently. Because you don't, the key with Ayyubid in Sim of Opposite is that you don't need villagers to do the upgrades. So instead, once you got enough for another house, so you got like 50 for a house. So when you're getting the tower, you need 100 for the tower, 50 for another house, and then 5 then 50 stone for the upgrade. You then just go purely on food, just purely food, and gold, just purely food and gold. And then when you hit the age up, which should be economic, you want the 8 free villagers. Once you hit that upgrade, you then send a huge chunk of your villagers to wood, like 12, and then you rally to gold. So as you're aging up, you're getting wood and dropping stables, and you're getting gold. And when those 8 villagers pop out, they all go to food, and that's your new food economy. But you just, and as you age up, you drop a stable, you drop a mosque, you can get the relics, and you drop another stable, and then you go into archers because you might force them into spears. Yeah, the age up should have been a lot faster. Go to his gold. So knowing he's French, you should have been on his gold instantly. That's the first thing you should have been messing with. Besides getting the hunt was a great call, but you want to then go to his gold. I don't like these walls. You have him stuck in his base. He's back defending, right? Oh, he does have a knight right here. I was about to say, the walls I would have liked is here to here and up through here, so that you get this berries and this deer. Doing these walls, I don't like that as much. You want to, since you have him push back, you want to take aggressive walls, which in my opinion would have been better. You're doing goulams. I'm not huge on goulams, and here's why. He can hypothetically just keep making knights and do okay. His feudal knights will do okay against your goulams, which will buy him time. Your camel lancers destroy his knights. I know he has spearmen, but then you just drop an archery range. You drop archery ranges and go archers, and then you make a mangonel. Like the classic build order for this is camel lancers into archers into mangonel. And mangonel kills the spearmen, the archers kill the spearmen, and then he dies. And because you can make siege with your cavalry units. Excuse me. So goulams are slower, and in smaller numbers he can surround them and like do okay against them with knights. But that means you need like 4 barracks to make the goulam numbers you need. That's what I mean. Look, this goulam got freaking snatched. Like, and here's the read you need now is, oh, he's like doubling down on feudal here with the goal of just trying to outproduce me, which he's currently doing. And now he's aging up the guild hall. And that's another point. The goulams are slow, so he caught you out on goulams. Mass camel lancers would have been better here. And when you see the spearman, you could just ran away and circle around and made him chase you. And then once you get archers, you can take the fight. But mass goulams are going to struggle here, and now he's aging out. He did just enough to keep you back, and now he's aging out. But this is also all an effect of your slow age up time. So the reason why you needed to get that age up as soon as possible is that for Ayyubid, that minute basically is everything, because he got out those spears and archers just as you were aging up, which if you had aged up earlier, it would have not been there, and then you would have had a chance to do damage. Yeah, these walls are super weak because now you haven't secured any new resources. The wall from here to here to here secures all these, or a wall here to here to here secures these. So like, you needed to secure more food resources because you're going to burn through your food super fast. Great. Where do you go from here? Mangonel. So remember, he has to be on food resources, right? He's making farms, but he's on, boom, the deer over here. There's more deer back here. There's a boar back here. So to me, to pick the side you should attack from, ask where he has resources. Well, all of his food is on one side of the map. Yeah, he could go berries back here, but berries suck. So you can give up berries. but like you don't want to get these hunts and this boar. So attacking from this angle is actually your best bet. You burn his houses with your mangonel so he gets pop-cacked. Keep him off food so he can't produce as much as you, and you are good to go. Attacking from this angle, you're just seceding all of the food. What does need to happen though is that a big part of this is cutting off food as much as you can. So I would send one Gulan to check this berries. I would have sent one Gulan to check this while you're doing this push at least. So if you want to attack from this spot, because it's the safest spot to attack from to get reinforcements, if that's the case, we then needed to send check units to go check resources. Yeah, when you push, you have to push with the mangonel, so he can't just snipe it like that. And now he's getting out arbitrary. If he gets a mass of those, it's gonna be bad. Yep. So you got a little greedy there and just dove villagers instead of just killing his arbitrary, because then he got just free shots on you. So you're at 5112. He's at 49.6. Once again, in reality, you had 8 villagers. If you really wanted to dive, when the fight started, just send one Camel Lancer. You don't need to send a bunch. Just like one Camel Lancer to this. Or send a Gulam over here and force him to keep making farms. Because if he's purely on farms, he's not going to be able to match your production, especially if you're on berries and things like that. This is your window. You really have to finish this game here. No, not Horseman. I'm not a fan of the Horseman switch here because they just die to everything, basically. Horsemen are great as raiding units at this point. Or if you have a really good front line, like Gulongs, but you didn't really have a front line. So your Horsemen are dying now. I like the Camel Lancers Archer comp the best, because Camel Lancers beat Men-at-Arms, they beat Royal Knights, and your Archers kill Spearmen, and then you just need Mangonels. But you're leaving him on food resources is the biggest issue right now. Also, as Ayyubid, the big part of this build is grabbing relics. So you really, as one of your major first things you dropped, was it should have been a mosque. And you have a lot of wood now, so you should drop like 2 mosques and grab these, because the free gold is very, very, very important. But you're just making a smorgasbord. Like, this isn't a comp. This is a little bit of everything. Which, if he just masses 2 good units, he'll beat this. In my opinion, you go pure, either do pure Gulam crossbow, or do pure Camel Lancer archer. Pick one of those 2. Okay, 59-25. He has 5. You just took a great fight. We need to push. It's taking too long. It took way too long. And this is a similar thing in the last game like that, where you had this advantage and you took way too long. Like, you could have dove right after that fight. Just dove into the back of his base and hunted Vills. Because he just wasn't around. And instead, you walked all the way around here and gave him time to remass again and then be able to defend. 2, you gave him this, like, well, look at this. Look at how much gold he's getting now. Like, you gave him the sides. Earlier, you could have cut off the sides of units to prevent him from getting resources, and that's the beauty about Gorge. Like, all the resources are super to the side. But instead, you've been attacking from the front and just letting him get resources. So while you keep winning these fights, you're never doing anything with them. Like, you're not winning a fight and then cutting off a resource or pushing through and destroying buildings. Like, now's the time to drop rams and force the issue. Destroy this production buildings. If you just drop rams, you could destroy these production buildings, and there goes all his arbitrary. You keep playing in his pocket here. Where's your siege? Yeah. I'm gonna pause this here because, okay, actually I want to see how this one goes. So you're making siege now. Oh my god. That's just unlucky, man. But when you're pushing out, you gotta watch. You gotta watch, because he just sniped 2 mangonels with like 4 knights, and that shouldn't have happened. One, I would keep your cavalry separate. So I would have the siege and the infantry together and the cavalry separate, because you want them running on the back and attacking the backside, while the infantry take the brunt and protect the siege. The second the fight pops off, your infantry need to fall back on top of the siege. Like, they should be sitting literally on top of the siege, so they can't be sniped like that. Oh, that was brutal. Now he has to keep up. Now things just got a lot harder, and now he just needs to survive. Yep, and this is where things start to go downhill. Two keeps. Okay, I'm gonna pause here. So you missed your window as Ayyubid. Not to say you can't win the game later, but the key thing is, one, the age of timing, and this is true for any fast castle civ. The timing is everything. Getting there as fast as possible is everything. Two, when you're doing these sort of like all-ins after fast castle, you need, one, get relics. Every fast castle requires getting relics, because that's a huge way to boost your economy if your opponent is like 2 TC or has a better eco than yours. Two, you need to cut off resources. It's not just like diving and killing villagers, it's cutting off resources so they can't do anything. You gave them the sides, and that was really bad. And three, well, really bad, it's harsh, but it's like that's the thing that would have made it easier for you if you can let them get these resources. And lastly, when you won fights, you didn't do anything with it. You didn't have like rams to push or mangonels to destroy buildings, or you didn't dive and try to hunt villagers with a few units. You don't need to send them all, just a few. You just kind of sat there and kept letting him survive, instead of like doing some sort of big push with rams or mangonels or something to end the game. I hope those two videos were helpful to you. I hope if you're watching this, you found them helpful to yourself as well. And good luck on your games.